Hello again. I would like to do some more coding with AI. I'm going to take what is known as a spec-driven development approach here. Um, this is essentially the idea of starting with a spec of some sort of specification and then using it in an AI-assisted development workflow. I want to basically see how far I can get in 15 minutes. So I'm going to start a timer and orient you a little bit to this project where we have this spec document. Essentially, in this spreadsheet example, what we do is define the scope of what we're going to have is very simple basic spreadsheet engine. It has a number of specific things that it does, mostly about cell data storage and retrieval, mathematical formulas, and the like. And the spec provides examples of what are the various requirements for cell identification and retrieval, and it even provides some naming conventions. Um, Also within this project, there are some ways to give GitHub Copilot clues as to how we'd like to organize things and how to do things like run tests in Python and a number of other things. So the first thing I would like to do is open the agent chat. And I'll actually move this into a window so we can see a little bit better. And here, um, read the docs spec.md file and generate a docs design.md. System design. So let's see what happens now, where we're going to have an agent working in Claude Sonnet 4. Again, we're in GitHub Copilot, and we're using uh, this basic AI agent process to take the specification that we started with, that maybe a business analyst wrote, and using that to come up with a design document, which we could review and understand how the agent wants to go ahead and build this application. So at this point, the only thing that the GitHub agent knows about is what's in the README file, what's in the Copilot instructions, and what's in the specification. So the Copilot instructions is a lot of that. How do we intend to structure the project, and what do we intend as sort of the basic outline of the application. If we dig into the README file, um, it will explain how to run the project and test for coverage. It also gives an example of this is going to be a library, and this is how we're going to call that library. But nothing very involved or explicit is provided, just some vision of where we're going, and the specification is going to be our pathway there. So let's keep this file and open it up, take a quick look at it. So the design is going to describe how this is going to be built. I could spend time sitting down and going through this and trying to understand how this will work. And it provides some basic understanding of how the cell data is going to be structured, how the cell address is going to be structured, and how the cell class will work, and how these pieces will go together. So my job is to, as a software engineer, is to go through and make sure this all makes sense, this works correctly. My next stage, assuming I don't have any revisions there, is essentially to say, okay, take the design and generate a test. I'll call this test plan .md that describes all the unit tests that should, let's say, automated PyTest tests that should be generated. So again, we're going to take that design document that was generated and use that as a way to see what we can do to understand the tasks that are going to be at hand. But I don't want the code under test to be built first. What I want is the test code to be generated first, so I can understand all of the ways in which this is going to be tested. And it's using this design document as that basis for its test plan and how that will be generated. In my Copilot instructions document, I provided a number of expectations as to where these tests would look like, how they would be focused. I provided this clue as to where I want that test plan document to go, and just general organization of the files. So right now we have and just explanation of all the files that are going to be generated. There's this test plan document. I'm going to go ahead and keep it and take a look at it. So this goes through and understands that, or recognizes that we're going to write failing tests before implementation and how those are going to be structured, and goes through and creates an outline of how those test cases are going to build. And now it goes through this. Okay. So the next step is going to be, I, as a software engineer, need to read through this and understand that these are the test cases I really think are the appropriate ones and cover it. Using the test plan, generate the first test and make sure it fails as expected. So now it's going to go through and it will generate the first. We can click at this point, see what is it generating. It's adding in a new test to go through and include this. So now it wants to run the test. And we see that it fails. Okay. Let's keep that and take a look at where we are. So we're testing the basic cell operation, and we have two tests, the one that was originally there and the new one. What I'll say is write just enough code in the sheet class to pass this failing test. Again, we can take a look at what it's doing to get these tests to pass. And it's creating a cell where it can hold the value and then retrieve that value. I'll see if we can continue to follow the test-driven approach to write the next test, have it fail, and then write just enough code to pass the test. And here again, it should add one test. I'm going to so it's already handling that test. So the simple dictionary implementation is already passing the tests that had been planned. It's unable to use the literal because that's not yet implemented. So it's going to want to add that test. All the tests are passing. And it's going to look at the to-do list from the test plan and confirm what has been tested and built so far. Let's see. We've got about 15 seconds before the timer goes off. So I'm not going to do another round. What I would like to do is take a look at how many tests did we actually generate. So we've got the literal being returned. So whatever is set gets literally returned. We've got the basic cell operations, returning hello if we put hello in. We put 42 in, we should get 42 back. When we have multiples, we should expect each of the multiples in there. We can go in and take a look at the spreadsheet implementation. What it's done is it's created two spreadsheet classes. So what I might want to do is have it combine sheet or combine the spreadsheet into the sheet class. And have it go through and combine these two classes that it generated into one, kind of tidy everything back up. Now we've gone through and we've added this. It's a lot more of what we expected. And now it's going to remove that spreadsheet class. Everything is passing. So we can see that the code can get ahead of us, but we have to remain vigilant to make sure that everything passes and operates as expected. Good, let's keep that. Take a look at the sheet itself. Okay, this is a lot more what I expected to see. And when I go into the actual test code, I see it calling the sheet class here, and that's what I expected. Okay, as we can see, we can continue on and iterate and build out this application, just starting from our specs, our spec. Thank you.